Welcome to Deadly Dames, and this is going to be my Arrow video collection part 4. Now, I was actually hoping to get everything else that I owned from Arrow into just one part, and I did initially do a video with that, but when I tried to upload it, YouTube told me it was too long, so I have had to split it into yet another part. So there will be a part 5. Obviously I just have too many movies, so we'll get on with part 4. So in front of me you can see Eaten Alive and Life Force, both from Tobe Hooper. I always felt a little bit sorry for Tobe Hooper because nothing that he ever seemed to do lived up to Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the eyes of the critics, but both these movies are actually outstanding. Life Force has a woman pretty much naked from beginning to end in it, and it does have Patrick Stewart, I can say his name there, being possessed by that naked woman, so definitely worth a watch. And Eaten Alive is just a wee hidden gem. It's a good little slasher, so highly enjoyable. Then a movie that most horror fans have already seen, and that is Inferno. Really good film from Dario Argento. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely get yourself a copy of it. Dressed to Kill, amazing, outstanding Brian De Palma film. Best shock ending that you'll see in a lot of films, well, certainly in a long time. It was the best shock ending that I've seen, and it's got quite a brutal death scene in the lift in it, but I won't say any more than that because I don't want to spoil too much for you. Another Brian De Palma movie, and I know he gets a bit of a hard time because people say he just rips off Hitchcock. At the end of the day, he obviously was a fan of Hitchcock and he took some ideas from it, but I don't think any of these movies were anything like Hitchcock films. I think they stood their own test. They were both fantastic. Blowout was a great movie. Definitely would recommend watching it. Then we've got David Cronenberg's Rabid. I think again most horror fans have probably seen Rabid. If you haven't seen it, get yourself a copy of it. It's an outstanding movie. And a couple of little expensive ones here because there was only 1,000 copies released of both of these. Hell Comes to Frogtown is outstanding. It is 80s cheese written all over it, but it is good 80s cheese. It's basically, I know it's quite funny, the new Mad Max quite clearly has taken some sort of inspiration from Hell Comes to Frogtown, because it's basically about the last fertile man and the last fertile woman, and they're trying to get him to breed with these women, and obviously the women get captured by these frog toad men and he has to go save them. It's got Roddy Piper in it. What else can you say to that? So obviously new Mad Max has got fertile women in it, and they're trying to steal them away from the guys who want to use these pretty fertile women. So I think they took a bit of inspiration from this. Now both these films cost an absolute bomb now. I'm glad that I got Hell Comes to Frogtown when I did. However, and I actually didn't mind paying the money for Hell Comes to Frogtown because it's such a good movie, but Hellgate cannot say the same for that film. It was rubbish. I actually am struggling to find anything that was that good about it. I think the only thing that really stood out with it is I quite liked the ghost walking along the side of the highway, but other than that, it was utter crap. And yet it costs a fortune. I mean, I paid a good bit of money for this one. Luckily not as much as it's going for online, but it is really, really bad. So enough said about Hellgate. Rollerball. I was so excited when Arrow announced they were releasing Rollerball because it's such a good film. Don't watch the remake crap, it's not worth it. Watch this one, it is amazing. And the reason why I got so excited is because I thought if Arrow can release Rollerball, then maybe they'll release movies like Logan's Run or the original Death Race 2000, again don't watch the remake crap, or Soylent Green, because these are 3 movies which are absolutely amazing, that have a rollerball kind of feel to them, that really, really do deserve a good release. And I kind of thought if they were doing Rollerball they might do those ones. Sadly there's been no announcements like that yet, but we are getting some new Arrow announcements next Friday, so you never know, fingers crossed. Pit Stop is actually one of the few ones in this pile that I've not watched yet. I really do like Jack Hill, so I do need to get watching this one. Good bit of 80s cheese here again, Night of the Comet. I remember it actually took me a couple of watches to realise why so many people like Night of the Comet so much, and once I watched it, I think it was the second time, I realised just how good a film it actually was. Oh, another one I've not seen yet, so please let me know if it's any good. The Visitor. Last American Virgin. This movie totally blew me away, and I think the reason for it was, yes, it's slapstick and it's stupid and it's got like the Porky's vibe to it, but what I really liked about it is it has a really depressing ending. And I know that sounds mad saying that, but in reality life isn't always Sunshine and Daisies, and I kind of liked that they did a teenage movie where, you know, you get to see the horrible side of it too. I would have liked to have seen the sequels, because I know this movie was a remake of the Lemon Popsicles, and there was lots of sequels to that, and I just feel that it was a bit unfair that this one never got to have a sequel, and it would have been good to see it, but the movie is actually very, very good. Zombie Flesh Eaters, I've got multiple copies of this movie. Love Zombie Flesh Eaters, and I got the pleasure of seeing it on the big screen last year at the Grosvenor with the all-night horror movie marathon. If you haven't heard about it, you haven't seen it, get online, go onto Facebook and search for them, go to the Grosvenor's website and you'll be able to read about it. So the Grosvenor's in Glasgow, just in case anybody's wondering. It's a smaller cinema, I can't speak today, and I actually got to see this in one of the last remaining Italian 35mm editions. It was fantastic, and definitely would recommend All Night Horror Movie Marathon. You basically go in at 10 o'clock at night, come out at 10 o'clock in the morning, you watch like 5 movies in a row. I actually got to see this film last year too, Shivers, which was the surprise announcement. Didn't get to see it on 35mm, it was digital, but I don't care. I managed to get to see Shivers, one of my all-time favourite David Cronenberg movies, on the big screen, so it was amazing. This was a wee bit of a gem Deranged. I actually really liked Deranged. I think the only thing that I struggled with it was the guy that's playing him, because it's like an Ed Gein story. He's the old man with the shovel from Home Alone, and I just kept thinking he was the guy from Home Alone, but the movie is really, really good though, it's enjoyable. Nightmare City. So I was really excited to see Nightmare City, and then when I finally did get to see it, I was actually kind of disappointed in it. I thought that it was very cliche, the ending. Is it real, is it not real? I did think the zombie makeup was really cheap, but it was actually quite funny that it was that cheap. And I really did like the scene where the chase on the roller coaster in the theme park. I think movies like Zombieland probably took a bit of an inspiration from this old classic. It is still worth a watch, but I just didn't like the ending. Then we've got Honeymoon Killers. I was a bit more disappointed in the Honeymoon Killers. I found myself sort of drifting away, losing attention, couldn't pay attention to the movie. It was a wee bit boring for myself, but I mean, it is based on a real life killers. It was okay. Wouldn't say it's my top pick from our releases. Mark of the Devil. Really, really good movie, Mark of the Devil. A bit brutal. You can see why there was such an uproar about it for the time that it was released. But it is actually a very good film, so it's definitely worth watching. See if I can get the name of this one. Is it Caligula? Oh, I can never pronounce it right, but let's just say it's got lots of boobies and lots of sex and a mad king. So that's enough for you. It is. I couldn't believe some of the scenes that were in this film. I actually thought for a second I'd put porn on, but believe it or not, this is actually a movie, and this movie actually does have these scenes in it. So if you're looking for porn but you don't want to go into a shop and buy porn, just watch this movie instead. And we've got Madman, that probably could have learned a thing or two from the previous movie, because the sex scene in Madman is terrible. It's got a hot tub sex scene that's supposed to be sensual. Oh, it's just out of place in this movie, but I actually really did like Madman. I love the theme tune. The theme tune's hilarious. They actually wrote a little Madman song, so go and Google the song to this film and you'll see what I mean. It's actually quite funny, but it's a good little slasher. I enjoyed it. I definitely would watch this film again. Big Trouble Little China. Don't really need to say much about this film. Great John Carpenter movie. Kurt Russell's in it. I love Kurt Russell. Just really, really funny and entertaining. So definitely, if you've not seen it, go get yourself a copy of Big Trouble Little China. I wish that I'd bought the steelbook of this, because it goes for an absolute bomb now online. It's extortionate. You're talking, I think the last time I seen one for sale was 50, 60, 70 pounds for a copy of it. Depending on how high the bids go, and the thing is, I actually could have bought the steelbook at the time I bought this one, but I chose to go for this one because my Arrow points got me this one for free, whereas if I'd paid for the steelbook I would have had to put some money towards it. Looking back now, I was very silly, but lesson learned. If you see a steelbook, just buy it. See, this is the thing though, it's a hit or miss, because you could pay a wee bit more money to get the special edition of the steelbook and then it ends up going on to an Arrow sale. Or you could go, okay, wait for it to go into an Arrow sale and then it sells out and it's out of print, but, well, what can you do? If I see the steelbook cheap, I'll definitely get it. People Under the Stairs, Wes Craven classic film. I grew up watching this film. I think it's fantastic. I think the two actors, the Twin Peak actors, they're great as the mum and dad. Obviously the kids and everything in this movie is really, really good. It's such a good idea. I think it's a hidden gem from Wes Craven. Definitely should be seen by some more people. And then Class of Nuke 'Em High. Trauma. What can you say about Trauma? They take really bad acting, really gross scenes, really stupid storylines, stick it all together, and yet the movie is still blooming good. So I don't know why, but I just like trauma movies. So Class of Nuke 'Em High. Tenderness of Wolves. This is another one, a wee bit like The Honeymoon Killers, based on a real life killer. It was okay. I found myself losing interest in the movie. I didn't like the character. I don't think you're supposed to like him, but I found it difficult to watch him. It's not a movie that I'd pick first choice to watch from the Arrows, but it was worth a watch. Maniac Cop, spoke about it many times, got multiple editions of Maniac Cop. Love this movie, love Bruce Campbell. Remo Williams, so this is an outstanding film. It's actually one of my partner's favourite movies of all time. My partner was on at me for years to watch the DVD edition of it we had. I wouldn't watch it, and then eventually I didn't realise why when my partner raves about it so much, because this movie is so good, and it really, really should have had a sequel as well, because it's just outstanding, but it never had a sequel, and it's a shame that it didn't. But if you've never seen Remo Williams and you like your old 80s action films, then you need to get a copy of this movie. Got Videodrome. I actually do have the special edition of this as well. Love David Cronenberg. I just didn't want to damage my special edition, so that's why I bought this one whilst it was cheap in the FOP sale at £6. 2 wee seconds. I'm going to put all my Vincent Price ones together, so that's why I'm just moving them out the way. I'm aware this video is becoming quite long, so I think I might have to split the Arrow collection into another 2 videos, just because there's so many of them. I didn't realise how many I had. Motel Hell. This is probably one of the ones from Arrow that took me most by surprise. It's just a really, really good movie. Some of it's so fake, like when they stop because they think they're going to hit animals in the road. Quite clearly cardboard cutouts, but it's got a really funny chainsaw fight scene at the end of it. I've watched it multiple times since I bought it, and it's really good. And a good bit of Arrow customer service here is that when I first started to collect the Arrow stuff, I bought Motel Hell second hand, and all the stuff on the inside was missing, and that just bugs me. I just don't know what you do with the things from the inside. What are you going to do with a little booklet that tells you a bit about it? A poster I can maybe understand, but the booklet, what are you going to do with that? I don't know, use it as a coaster, but it really bugs me. So I'd sent Arrow an email saying that I'd bought a lot of these things second hand, and asked if there was any way that they had any of their replacement stuff, and they actually did send me, it wasn't for Motel Hell, it was actually for Black Sunday, which is just coming up. They actually did send me the booklet for the inside of Black Sunday. They didn't have anything from Motel Hell. They said it was out of print, but I still think that's really good customer service that they did that for somebody who was only just starting to get seriously into collecting their stuff. And then The Stuff, movie I grew up watching, fantastic. Love the scene where the guy's head just explodes. Always thought it'd be really funny if you did actually find stuff. Would you eat it? Would you not? But I really like The Stuff. And this is another kind of creature feature one that took me by complete surprise, and that was Squirm. Really good film. I just thought it was a good creature feature. Definitely stood out for me as a movie that I could watch multiple times that Arrow's released. So hopefully they release more things like Squirm. Another movie that I seen as a kid was Beast Within, and it's weird, I always remember this being a werewolf movie. It's not a werewolf movie, but the effects in it's fantastic. And then again, multiple editions of this movie. Love Time Bandits, love Terry Gilliam, would love to see Arrow releasing some more stuff of his. But I think this is us almost out of time for this video, so hopefully you like and subscribe. I did actually have a smaller pile here at the side I was hoping to get into it, but alas I cannot fit them in. And I hope, I'm going to have to do an Arrow part 5 and maybe a part 6 actually, considering how much is still left here. But hopefully you like and subscribe, and if you want to ask any questions, please ask away. Take care.